It's very simple. Again, being a letter to the panelists and to everyone gathered here. I do not want to dwell much onto the issues of racism and whatnot. I have my own reasons. But in or what I want to hear out of this conglomeration is, I've heard you guys talking a lot about the Constitution, that we're not in a democratic country. I want to hear you guys telling us about the solutions to the problems that we're facing. You've all given us your take into the issue as to how do you feel about the constitutional democracy that we have. For an example, most of you are holding a view that we are not in a democracy, that we are not in a democratic state. And you resort to define the democracy as a concept on its own, that it is a government of the people, elected by the people for themselves. The Constitution itself, that there must be free elections after every 5 years, where people go to vote voluntarily for their own government. The Constitution specifically says that there must be a constitutional court that is specific. There must be a judiciary. There must be what is called 3 arms of government: the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. The Constitution provides and ascertain certain powers to these houses, to these arms of government, that the legislature, for an example, is responsible for making the laws. Isn't that democracy? Yes, we've got challenges. We can't deny the fact that we've got problems. A number of problems ever since the dawn of democracy in South Africa. Out of those challenges, can we really say we are not in a democratic state? I fail to understand that. As much as we've got these problems, issues of real importance that must be attended to, the Constitution itself says that no one is above the law. I am not praising our Constitution, hear me well. I'm not praising it. We may argue and say there's quite a lot that we need to talk about the very Constitution. Section 25, for an example, it's open to discussion, it's open to debate. Most of the people are not happy with the provision itself as it stands. The issues of land. That's exactly what we should be doing, discussing Section 25, coming up with ideas and solutions. Anyone can just rise up in this venue and say, as the EFF, we don't believe this is democracy, and we'll just clap hands. Because the EFF has said so. What is the solution to that? The ANC can stand up and say, we don't believe in this, the EFF is making the noise, blah, 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 blah. But what are you saying about it? What must we do about it? You will all nishane ngamakhanda ngapha nangapha njani omunye kombo omunye, but actually we will come out of this venue without any solutions, without any ideas that we have attained from it, except you trying to show us how well you can argue, how well you can get the audience arousing and standing ovations and all. We don't want that. We want critical thinkers who will give us solutions to the problems that we are facing. It is not true. It is not true that we're not in a democracy. We are in a democratic state. The issues and the challenges that we have are the challenges that we need to work on as the citizens of this country. These are the issues that we need to tackle. The issues that we need to stand up on our own and say enough is enough. We chose you to go there, and we can recall you if we see that you are not doing what we thought you were going to do. You understand that? But I've just actually elongated my argument. I didn't want to be so long. I wanted to just say one thing, that as much as we are debating and talking and exchanging ideas, let us make sure that when we come out of this congregation, we come out of this with solutions. There will always be problems. There will always be issues. We can talk about racism over and over again, but what are we doing about it? The law, Puma, doesn't operate as a sledgehammer. Currently, there is a legislation, there is actually a bill that Parliament is busy working on the issues of racism. Did you know that? There is a bill that Parliament is working on to sort out the issues of racism. There's quite a number of bills that are on the pipeline that the legislature is currently working on to preserve some of the issues that we are talking about. Right? There's quite a number of things. If we get used to this idea of, researching and doing things or be on par with the things, and we will be. No. I'm not referring to you.
Protect the speaker, please.
I'm just conscientizing you guys that we must get to the idea of researching and be on par with things, before we just talk. All right, thanks a lot.
Would like to take a question from Ms. Asko.
No,